all we do is just ask you, that's your souvenir, stick it in your pocket, no one's going to look at you anyway. Everyone's concerned about their own selves. You know, the communion service, but don't take that. Okay, that's why I read that little prohibitive thing at the beginning and stuff. Don't do the communion deal. Just stick it in your pocket, walk away, and be happy. Okay? Now, if you look at the Old Testament, right off the bat, after creation, male and female, He created them, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, one of the first things out of the gate, they sinned. And everyone else after that brings that echo right into life with us. That was way back when Brontosaurus built the earth. That was my original degree. That was in education. And I had went around and around with professors time after time, whether man was basically good or basically evil. These folks in education think the better than people. So they say, well, that's really good. And I would raise my hand and go, I quit by that. I'm really sorry.
Your wife got your one.
But if you can't pass stuff quite naturally, thank you very much. Turn your back on just about anybody. Don't mess up. That's just the way we are. It's the way we're hardwired. And that's an echo. And that's an echo we want to clear back to Adam and Eve's time when sin came into the world. The biggest thing is that we forget, because we like to kind of cover it over and think that, or not offend somebody, we think that God winks and turns around and just goes, ignores that sin. Well, whatever, should be all right. He doesn't. God's holy. That means completely devoid of sin, period. And He doesn't like sin at all. And He causes us to look at sin the way He does. And that is to change our mind about it. To look at sin differently than you go, oh, great God. Well, it is great God for a moment. But the end thereof, the Scripture says, is death. Spiritual atheism. The idea is sin is real serious stuff. And that is what God wants us to really realize with this. Clear down from Adam and Eve's time, as you go through and start getting into the patriarchs, you realize real quick, Abraham had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Okay? Oh, no, Abraham had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Let me get it right. Ishmael, whatever. Okay, that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's female and all that stuff now, but I'm old. Okay, and I lick them still not with self-adhesive. That's pretty easy. They use that to make your tongue that big. Okay? Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob, because he's coming. Okay? Jacob's going to have 12 sons, one of whom is named Joseph. And his brothers capture him and sell him to a bunch of Midian traders and take him clear down out of his homeland as a teenager, clear down to Egypt. I love Egypt. Egypt is so fertile that it's green from space. That's pretty green. If you can make your land look green from space, you've done really well. The Nile running north up through, you see the Nile Valley, all the way up into the Delta region. We're going to be talking about this area right here. This was Goshen. That was the area that the Jews settled in, and at first were really happy there. Joseph made a good place for them, and Joseph went from literally as a helper in a household to in a prison to becoming vice pharaoh. He did great in a land that he knew nothing about, had to learn everything, including the language and all the education and all that administration and all that kind of thing. Finally brought his whole family because of famine down to Egypt, and it is still one of the most fertile places in the world. You want some good produce and stuff, go to the Delta region of Egypt. It's gorgeous. Okay? Big, huge things. It looks like if you're used to seeing how beautiful things are in Alaska, that's the way it is in Goshen. Big, you don't have what we would call an onion. You have leaves, which are monster. You can buy those things. And that kind of area is big, huge, beautiful down there. Well, they located in there. The trouble is they started getting a ton of them, a lot of people. And, they just go ahead, don't make more. It's like Doritos. Literally, they're having a population explosion. The Pharaoh who knew Joseph died. And now a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph took over. And he said, they're a threat. There are too many of these guys. And look at them. Man, they work really hard. They're industrious people. Let's enslave them. Free labor. That's great. And that's exactly what they did. The Jews were slaves in Egypt for over 400 years. 400 years of slavery. Finally, God raised up Moses. You know the story of Moses. Maybe in the bulrushes and the little boat. And literally, he is brought in, even though he's Jewish, he's brought into the Pharaoh's household, and for 40 years he becomes an instant success. He leads a huge army against Ethiopia coming up from the south, actually down about around here in Thebes area. Literally takes the whole army and pushes the Ethiopians back to the Horn of Africa, which we know is Ethiopia today. The idea was he was monster successful. At 40 years old, he looks around and says, you know, my lineage is really with these people who are slaves, and I'm going to try to right this wrong. And he tried to do it in his own power. 40 years old, failed miserably. Ends up murdering an Egyptian, which is a bozo no-no. You just don't do that. And so literally he has to leave. He runs not just out into the desert, and this is desert. If it looks bad from space, it looks worse from standing on it. And it's horrible. He runs all the way down, all the way up, over in the land of Midian. You see the bunny ears sticking out, that's the Red Sea, Gulf of Suez, Gulf of Aqua. And you're going to go up and over, and you're in the land of Midian, and there he gets entrusted into a family that is there, and is there for another 40 years being a shepherd. And 80 years old, he's going to see the burning bush. His life really started at 80. But God said, I need someone to go back and lead from 1 to 6 million people out of the land who have done nothing but slavery and put them into a group that he can, actually even a fighting force, but a group that can survive out in the middle of nowhere. And I need a general that can do that, knows how to order and move in and take care of that administratively. However, I don't want an Egyptian general running my people all over the world. So for 40 more years, I'm going to teach you how to lead people like shepherds lead sheep. There's a huge difference between how you walk around the sheep who know you, and you don't go way ahead because they don't know where they're going, you'll lose them. Nor do you get behind them and drive them like cattle, get along with little donkeys. Killing this bush and none of my own. No, you walk along with them. Here we go. Okay? That's how I want a leader to work with my folks. So at 80 years old, he's perfectly trained from God's side. He thinks I'm a miserable failure. I failed at 40. I'm just kind of running my life out. I've been 40 years down here in the desert, and he's clear around here on this backside of the Midian desert, so to speak, down here at Mount Sinai. There he sees on the hillside a bush burning and says, you know, whoa, Moses, take your shoes off. You're on holy ground now. And God himself tells Moses, you're going back to lead my people out. Well, he does. Takes his brother along with. And so there's Moses and Aaron standing in front of Pharaoh. And he says, God says, let my people go. No way am I going to give away my free labor source. Now, you can like little etchings and stuff like that. If you're in Hollywood, that's what we're used to seeing. There you go. You know, people under your oh, hurry up. Okay, there it is. All right. The idea is, let my people go. No way. Because you're not wanting to do it. All at once, there are 10 plagues. Right there they go. Water turns blood, you have frogs, you have lice or gnats, flies after that. You can see the progression. You know, things get gross, things die, start having gnats, flies. Okay, disease on cattle, you can see the upswing of this. All your biology people go, well, sure, this is a natural progression. Ta-da! Okay, here we go. Boils, hail and fire, locusts, darkness. We've had 9 of those. Pharaoh every time goes, oh, I'll let you go. Nah, I'm not. He pulls the rug back out of it. No, I'm not going to let you go. He says, there's 1/10 plague. Moses goes to him and says, you know, there's one nasty one coming. Please, just let us go. Let us go. No. Okay. No, and he pulls the rug out again. No, I'm not going to let you go. He goes, really? You want to let us go? This is going to be the last one. He says, get out of my sight and don't come back. Moses says, you're right. The last time I'll see you. Nice. That's rough stuff. And that's exactly what happened. Moses goes back, gets the word of the Lord, goes to his own folks and says, what you need to do real quick, get yourself a lamb, perfect lamb, best that you have. I want you to sacrifice that lamb because God takes sin real serious. And he's going to set up a system now by which we're going to deal with this serious stuff. He says, your lamb shall be without blemish, male the first year, take it from the sheep or your goats if you're not a lamb guy. Okay? And now you shall keep it to the 14th day of the month. He says this on the 10th day. That's so sad. You know, you always think of kids and all that, how nice everything is. You got this pet lamb, you literally tie it to the door for 4 days. Because God wants you to see this is costly stuff. I take sin real serious. I want you to get to know this lamb going back and forth for 3 days straight so that you get to know him really well. So when you sacrifice him, you see how I see fit. It's like, it sounds so cool and awful. It's like, welcome to reality. I'm sorry. That's it. Okay? And you take it the 14th day on the same month, the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill all of them at twilight, so that sacrifice is being made. Now you take some of the blood, and I want you to put it on the doorpost and a doorpost on the side, and one across the top, of the door. So 3 sides of the door, not floor, but 3 sides of the door are covered in this stuff. Okay? Then what I want you to do is this. I want you to take the flesh, the animal itself, roast it in fire, put unleavened bread. Now the unleavened bread is because this is going to get ready to go. This is, serious stuff. This plague is the one that is the backbreaker for Egypt. They're going to let us go this time. You don't have time to let bread rise. It's unleavened bread because it's bread. You're going to need some bread to get strengthened up for the big turkey and all that. But you don't have time, so it's unleavened bread. And you shall eat it with bitter herbs. So I'm going to put this in your hair, in your psyche, so that during the years you're going to go through this meal, that bitter herbs are going to remind you of 430 years of slavery here. Do not eat raw nor boiled with water, but roasted in fire, so you can do it on the desert. You can't do that other stuff without getting disease and grossness out there. But you can do a barbecue out in the desert because it's hot, and re-hot out there. Okay, here it goes. So, forevermore, literally, centuries pass. Centuries pass, the Jews do this Seder meal, the Passover, a lamb, bitter earth, both of these, because both of these are roots and really hot, nasty stuff. Remind you of how bad it is. They add to it a chutney, which is made out of fruit and stuff, to remind you of the mortar that went between the bricks and stuff that they had to build. And the fun part was that the Jews built 2 major cities in Egypt, and both of them were banking centers. So it's kind of, the irony of that is unbelievable, as they are putting together financial centers and great centers for commerce and stuff. That reminds you of that. Melons and stuff was how rich the land of Goshen actually was. And we survived 430 years under the most brutal conditions known to man. Okay? And I love the egg, because they threw the egg in there. There's kind of a new one for everyone. What's the egg? The egg is round. And so the idea is a hard-boiled egg, so they peel it off, and there it is. It reminds you of life and death. It rolls into the oven. It's eternity. That's why they use an egg to do that. You're going to have the matzos over here, which is the unleavened bread, and then what you don't see in this picture is a cup of wine that it goes along with that particular meal. And it says, thus you shall eat this with a belt on your waist, sandals on your feet, and a staff in your hand. It's fast food because we're out of here. Okay? That's literally, you're eating this meal standing up, not sitting. We're like at the airport, just throwing stuff in your face as you get ready to try to make your flight. Okay, that's the idea. Staff in your hand, you shall eat it in haste. That doesn't mean gross, that you know, not just, stuff it down your face, but it means you're going to eat it quick. The idea is not to linger over it, for it is the Lord's Passover. Now, well, we get to that. And so I'll pass over the land of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, and man and beast, and all the gods of Egypt. I will execute judgment, for I am, I love that, I am, me, in Greek. I am the Lord, the blood which shall be a sign on you in the houses. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. The Egyptians won't have this protection. I'm coming past you. And if I see the blood, I will pass over you. And its name's Passover. Okay, here we go. And the plague will not destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So that's what the Israelis did. Made their sacrifice, put the blood on the doorpost and lintel, and then the angel of death passes by them as he goes to visit all the firstborn, clear up to Pharaoh's household, and the new Pharaoh to be dies during this. The reason says, you shall observe this thing as an ordinance for you and your sons forever. And it will come to pass, when you come into the land which the Lord shall give you, the Lord knows where they're going, what they're going to be doing, just as he promised, you keep this service once a year. You're going to do this Passover service. And it shall mean for your children to say. That's the whole point. Is that this is going to be not just centuries, this is going to be a millennia and a half. Over 1,500 years. This is going to happen like 15 to 1600 BC. So the idea is that in 1,500 years, you're going to be doing this year after year after year after year. So your children ask, what does this mean? He says, this is the Passover, the sacrifice of the Lord, will pass over the houses of the children of Israel, and in Egypt, and struck the Egyptians, delivered them in the household, and so the people bowed their heads, and they worshiped. That went on every year, Passover meal. So that the kids would pass on to their kids, if they passed on to their kids. Why are we doing this silly meal? You know, I don't like these bitter herbs, and especially the middle part had a little salt water in it to remind you of the crossing of the Dead Sea, and to make the bitter herbs to actually be able to swallow them. Okay, it's like horseradish or something. You ever try to chew on that stuff? Okay, the idea is it's like, slavery's not good, but God is good and brought us out of that. That's the whole idea of it. So, millennia. 1,500 years passed by, and we have the New Testament. We're using today Matthew's Gospel, but we don't use it very often, because it is the Jewish transition gospel. If we look at the Gospels, how they were made, Mark was written first. But we put Matthew where we do because there's a 400-year gap between Malachi and the New Testament time. If you want to have a guy that can marry up the Old Testament, Malachi, and all that stuff in the Old Testament, and going into the New Testament as a transfer, is Matthew. Levi, the tax collector. Okay? He's the good transition. That's why we stick Matthew where we do. Because if we started with Mark, it'd be, jerk and jerk. You know, if you read Malachi to Mark, it's tough. Malachi to Matthew, that makes sense, especially for a Jewish mindset. So you're going to jump over it into Israel in the New Testament. Scripture said, in the fullness of time, Christ came. I love that. Fullness of time. He knew exactly when Jesus should come. God's own Son, fleshed out, incarnation. That's what it means. God in skin. Okay? Incarnation. God in skin. I love it. As sarx in Greek, skin. God skinned out. There he is. Okay? You want to know what God is like, what God wants out of you, how God would act on this earth? Look at Jesus. That's God's Son right here on earth for us. And the idea is, Jesus lived a sinless life. 3 years of ministry, but 27 years of just plain being a carpenter's son and all that. Perfect life. 27 years old, goes into ministry, and for 3 years he is all over Israel. Israel is the Sea of Galilee, Mighty Jordan, Dead Sea, as we always say, but travel all the way up and down this, but it's not that large, all things considered. It's about 50 miles this way, about 200 miles that way. Israel's not that big, especially if you take out the West Bank. Good night nowadays. Okay, West Bank is all this. But the idea is, it's not that huge, but that's where his whole life was spent. 3 years of that, perfect. The last year of his life, he's going down to Jerusalem. He is going to be crucified. And the night before, he's going to celebrate the Passover. So he goes out, and he's going to go on the Transjordan, down up Jericho, up the Jericho road, straight up, literally, switch back, all the way up to Jerusalem. And as he's coming in, one of his disciples breaks off and goes and talks to the officials. Ready? One of the 12, Judas Iscariot, went to the chief of the priests and said, "What are you willing to give to deliver this man to you?" What? One of the 12. And Jesus actually goes through that upper room experience with this guy, knowing who he is and what he's doing, and he still allows him to be there. Only God. Okay? Really good. What are you willing to give? And they counted out 30 pieces of silver. Look at this, cheap. Price was slight. It says, from that time on, he sought for a way to betray him. And the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, Passover, the disciples came to Jesus and says, "Where do you want us to go to prepare to eat the Passover?" And he says, "Go into the city and talk to a certain man." I love it to put it in a certain man. In Greek, that's really good because it's a certain man. He doesn't tell them who. You're going to go find him because I've got Judas standing right here with his ears out this big, trying to radar in on this. I'm not going to tell you where you're going. You go, you'll figure it out. Keep this guy in the dark best as I can over here. Right? So, and he goes into the city, finds a certain man. The teacher says, "My time is at hand." Don't miss that. In the fullness of time, Jesus came. He came during the Roman era, which even though the Romans were not godly at all, for these guys, even though they had their boot to their neck, it was a nice time for Jesus to come. If you look at all the history that hits the Middle East, that is the only time that you have the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. Now it's a Hitler peace, but it's a peace. Okay, nobody's warring because they're all being beat down by Rome. Then you have Roman roads, Roman wall. All the things that needed to get the gospel out in the early days was right there, assembled in the fullness of time he came. From Jesus' time, he went into ministry, went into the desert, was tempted by Satan. To the time he was on that cross, was delineated out. He would say, "My time's not yet come." No. My time is not yet come. Now he says, "My time is at hand." For those folks who said that Jesus was just caught in the cogs of history and that he was just crushed because he got in the middle of a power conflict between everyone in Palestine and everybody in Rome and all that. Nah. He knew exactly what he was doing. Put himself in exactly that spot. The idea is, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. That's what he's saying to the who knows, certain man. And the disciples did just as they were directed, and they prepared for the Passover. Now, when evening came, he sat down with the 12. I love it because it's Da Vinci, I love the Da Vinci painting because it's like, doesn't someone eat on this side of the table? Or, hey, we're taking a picture. Everybody get on one side of the table. I was wondering about that. Everybody get on this side of the table. We call this kind of line up. How do you do that? But they do. That's Da Vinci. They didn't do that. Okay, by the way, that's the European thing. Makes for a really good mural on the wall, and then we had a painting come from the mural. If you look at the original, you'll see right in the middle of it, there's kind of like an indentation right where Jesus is sitting. That's a doorway. They painted it right over the top of the door. Okay, that's where the original is. And so the idea is, assuredly I say unto you, one of you will betray me. And they became sorrowful and began to say, "Lord, is it I?" I love that. Because all of them knew that they had the propensity to mess up. When we come into a communion service, the idea is to look inward because we can look outward and see everyone else's sin. The trouble is we all sin too. And we know it worse than anybody else. We just hide it better. The idea is to look inside yourself and say, okay, God, what are you telling me? How am I going to clean myself up, as it were? Okay, there it is. Lord, is it I? This is more about what it would look like. They recline down, they lean on one arm, eat out of a common, big tray of food, and they're talking back and forth. It is a real conversational type of way of eating. You're all feet out, heads in, and you're all engaged talking with one another back and forth. That's the idea. Now, you ready? And as they were eating, Jesus took the bread. Do that. Get your little cracker out here. Okay? What I want you to do is realize why they did a matzos. Why they did this unleavened bread thing. Because the whole idea is 1,500 years worth of this, they've been doing this. I'm going to do it for you, not yours yet. Okay? But I want you to realize in the middle of the Passover, they would take the bread and they would break it. The idea was they wanted the kids and all the adults to hear that was the breaking of the bonds of slavery. We're out of here. We're getting away. God is breaking that bond. Jesus is saying he took the bread, blessed it, and broke it. I want you to put up your ear and crack it. And for the first time in over 1,500 times, or 1,500 years worth, for the first time he says, he broke it and says, you're going to take and eat because now you're not remembering the breaking of bonds of slavery. I'm transitioning this same meal, that this is breaking the bonds of literally sin. I'm breaking you from that original way back when, that problem you've got that you have to deal with year after year, killing an animal year after year. I'm breaking that cycle. I'm ready to go to the cross where I will break it forever. One sacrifice for all of mankind for one time. I'm ready to do that. And that break is that break of that sin that is there. And I want you to remember my body was broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Let's remember. Lord God, we thank you for your sacrifice for the likes of us. That you were beaten, that you were torn, you were ripped, and Father, not only just made fun of, but just literally ripped to shreds. For our sin, you didn't deserve any of that. But Father, you went through it for the likes of us. God, we are so unworthy, but so grateful. Thank you for breaking your body for the likes of us. Thank you for your grace and your mercy in our lives. And all God's people said, amen. He also, during that same Seder meal, took the cup. Now, they actually had more than one of these. One or two was, we're eating food, we're eating these bitter herbs, we need something quick, or my mouth is on fire. But the third cup was a cup of really joy, because you got the meal almost done, and it's kind of like rejoicing and all that. We remember, we got it, we came out of Egypt. Jesus took this cup, and the third one around, and he says, I'm transitioning this. He said he took the cup, gave thanks for it, sent it around to them, and says, drink all of this, because my blood is the new covenant. The word covenant in Greek is the same word as we have for testament. The Old Testament's transitioning into the New Testament. Wall, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, grace and mercy but still God remains holy and just, but now a God of grace and mercy. Old Testament to New Testament with a transition. He says, this is now not just going to represent the blood of those sacrifices for all those years. This is going to represent my blood. And my blood is going to come to shed for the remission, taking away, cleaning up all the sins. Because all those years that you were doing sacrifices, that was good for 1 year. Thank you very much. Next year, see you here. New sacrifice. Let's do it. God takes sin real serious. Boom. Every year. He says, one place at one time, I'm going to hang on an old rugged cross. And every drip of blood coming off that cross is going to say, I love you, I love you. And from all sins, go back to Adam and Eve, pulled this way, all sin down the time continuum to 2016, where we sin even this day, is heaped up, all of it at one place at one time. That is why Jesus on the cross said, Tetelestai, Greek. They still use it today on manifests and stuff that you'll get a receipt if you're especially in shipping. Paid in full. It's an accounting term. It wasn't a theological term. It is finished. Tetelestai. Food. Paid for in full. And he says, I want you to remember, I'm giving you the memory cue, that when you drink this, you're drinking and remembering the blood that I shed for you that cleanses you from all sin. Do this and remember me. Our Lord and our God, we thank you, Father, for the blood that you shed on the cross for the likes of us. Father, we thank you for forgiveness. We thank you for salvation. We thank you, Father, for a home in heaven when we die. But Father, more importantly, at this point in our lives, we are thanking you that you have a purpose for each one of us, that you gifted us to do certain jobs in certain ways. And Father, help us to remain faithful in your sight and do the things you called us to do during our time. For Father, in a real sense, in the fullness of time, we're here too. We're not here by accident, both geographically and in time. Father, we are here as finite type creatures with infinite souls inside. Father, help us make our time on this earth count for what you want to, not what we figure out we want to do and ask your blessings in that. Father, help us transition into doing life from your perspective, not ours. For we ask this in Jesus' name. And all people said, Amen. When they had sung a hymn, I love it. They sung a hymn, they went up the Mount of Olives. We know that's where he was betrayed. But the idea is they ended it by singing a hymn. I like that. They ended it by singing a hymn. Why? Because even though Jesus is going to the cross, they knew in times future, this is a happy occasion. Because God didn't want you to stay in the four walls of the cloistered church. He wants you out in the highways and byways, because Jesus didn't just die on the cross, he rose again. Only one to do that. I mean, literally, I've checked, mortality is 100% minus 1. God raised himself. And if he raised himself, he could raise us. He's not here. He's risen, just as he said, and he's not just risen, he's coming back. Not as Redeemer, he's done that. He's coming back as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's who he really is. That's the God we worship. That's the God we cling to. That's what communion is all about. Let's stand and pray. Lord God, thank you that we can go out in this place